And we're live.
Hooray!
Yay.
Oh, welcome back.
Here.
Welcome back to Podcast.
Yep.
With your hosts, Pod and Cast.
Sure.
That's it. Three
Okay.
people, but only two names. It's really weird.
Yep. Yeah, two of us are pod, but not the two you expect.
Two peas in a pod, baby.
What have you guys been up to in the last week?
I was visiting my mom and my sister today.
Nice.
Oh yeah. But
Yep.
So your mom must be visiting, because isn't she
Yes.
from out? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's from Newfoundland, so she's up visiting. Yeah. She's here for the month.
Nice.
Yep. Got to see them.
Not staying with you. Staying with the sister.
Staying with sister because she's watching the boys.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, the boys are hell-bent on getting their newest obsession, which is the latest hot Sonic game, Sonic Generations.
Oh, sick.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I've been tasked with tracking down a copy of Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360.
Wait, they don't even own it, but they're obsessed with it.
Yeah. No.
Just from like watching.
They're obsessed with like Sonic games. They're like, "Oh, I want the new Sonic game." They're like, "Oh, do you want Sonic Frontiers?" No, Sonic Generations. Like, okay. I'll
So
go
how
get
did they
it.
land on that as the new one? You don't know.
I don't know,
All right.
because they were playing Sonic Unleashed last time I visited them. Like they're just going through every Sonic game.
Oh man, these poor boys. Should have come in there and corrected them.
No.
Kind of like when you see a kid starting to make his left hand his dominant hand, and you're like, "Oh no, let's fix this for you before
What?
it becomes like a problem." You
What?
force the kid to write with their right hand.
Wow. I don't think that was even my parents' generation. I think that's even.
I think that was a
earlier
couple
than that.
back. Yeah.
Well, I'm not left-handed, but from what I understand, when you're writing, you smudge the page. But do kids even write these days? I would assume they don't.
I don't
It's
know.
all like laptops and
I think they
iPads.
still have to learn to write because otherwise they can't use crayons.
What? So like I pretty much stopped writing stuff. Maybe like high school time. Maybe like mid high school, around grade 10 or so. Well, what age do you think kids are no longer writing with like pencil paper these days?
13. Probably.
13?
Junior high.
Yeah,
high
just like
school.
elementary school, and that's it.
Teenager, yeah. I think once you get past grade 7,
Yeah, I think so too.
they're like, yeah, I just have like an iPad. I'm
Here's
sure
a
they still have.
tablet
I'm sure
or-
they still have. Yeah.
Or a laptop. Yeah, probably.
They probably like some schools do that. I'm sure most still do pen and paper. So I'm pretty sure you're actually gonna be like I used pen and paper in college, but also
Yeah.
that was like 20 years ago now. So
Right, that's
Yeah.
that's the era for sure. Yeah. I have a hard time using like pen and paper nowadays for any extended period of time. Like
I'd much rather use a laptop and type.
absolutely. Just that the hand muscles are they're different. They have different priorities these days.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't have a copy of Generations you could have loaned them. Or did you
Yeah. They are
purposely
too
choose
young
not
to loan them things.
Okay, so
Yeah. Makes
I
sense.
see. Right.
Plus, knowing
What,
them, they also would want to keep it. So I'm just like, yeah, just we'll just get him one. It's like $15.
What version of the 360 do they have?
The Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
makes
that
sense.
makes more sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, good luck with that. I guess that's not the worst one, so I guess that's good.
It's one of the better ones for sure.
Nice. What about you, Paul? What's going on with you?
I mean, we'll get to it. Gaming, but nothing otherwise. Just work.
We were talking about it briefly before you signed on. John, did you watch any Evo?
No, I was streaming all weekend, so I missed the majority of it.
Yeah, we didn't really watch it either. So let's not talk about Evo.
Yep.
Let's instead talk about the top-down perspective for August 10th. I'm Sean Booker.
Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
And let's talk about the big game that came out. You guys played it, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little interested, John, that you played it. What do you have to say about it? What are your thoughts?
So that game is not for me.
Yeah, so I have this suspicion that Baldur's Gate 3 is going to make a lot of people obsessed with D&D that never played it before, or a lot of people fucking hate it because they don't like D&D stuff. So that tracks.
Guess which camp I'm in?
Yeah, no, that tracks for sure. It definitely... So the thing I like about it is that... And the thing that's been kind of hard to break is that it doesn't play like a normal CRPG. You have to think in terms of, like, like you would in D&D, where like you do an action and then like maybe you have to leave the vicinity because your character is going to get fucking smoked if they're in line of sight and stuff like that. Or like using Mage Hand to move a certain thing so that you can like do a thing, or shooting mechanisms from across the room so you don't have to like risk losing your character. All that sort of stuff is like deeply ingrained in that stuff, and that's what I love about it. But like I definitely could see how people playing it might be like, oh, this kind of sucks. Like, I don't like this at all.
The second that we got into a combat situation in the prologue,
Yeah.
I saw the way that the arena was set up. I'm like, oh my god, this is just Aiden Chronicles the First Mage for N64. The game to always say is the worst
really
game I've ever
funny.
played, and is the game the only game I ever returned the same day I rented. So I'm like, okay, this has got a lot going against it already.
So do you not like CRPGs in general, or is there something specific about like...
If I'm being real,
this?
that was probably the first CRPG I've played.
Okay. That's fair. So you never played Divinity or like any of the old ones from the 90s?
No.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Someone basically what happened was last night someone was like you should get Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, I'll think about it. And then someone donated. I was like, no, now you can get Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I guess I'll download it and I'll play it this stream. And then we beat 2 NES games in the time it took to download. And then we played it for a bit. We got out of the prologue, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably never going to boot this up again on my own.
Sure.
Wow.
That, I mean, honestly, that tracks with how you've talked about this type of game before.
Yeah. But I was also straight up like, I can see how this will definitely be game of the year for a lot of people. Like, I was up front, like, I can see those who love this kind of game will praise this to hell and back. Like,
it is very popular.
Perfect.
It's incredible.
But like, I am the, what is it? It's like a 97 on Metacritic. I am the 3%.
Yeah.
I'm the 3 point.
Yeah, fair. That's fine.
I do also feel like a lot of the time when it comes to your taste in games, like the more like narrative or story focused is, the less interested you are.
But I like story focus. I like stories and stuff like that. But like, I just don't like D&D to begin with. So that was already a point against the game. Yeah, and then like I can see like the writing seems sharp.
It's very
like
good. Yeah.
The characters seem interesting. The character creator was fun, but I had 4 different like roles that they had to do like a check for, and I rolled 2s on almost every single one except for like
life.
a 3.
It'd be like that
and
sometimes, you know.
I'm just like, this is why I hate D&D. I just hate these kind of mechanics.
Yeah. Fair.
No, I was pretty checked out by the end of like the hour and so we were playing. I was just like, this is super not for me.
Fair.
But it's super for you, Paul, right?
I think this is one of the most incredible things that's been made in a long time. Mainly because this is the closest a game has ever come to being like you with your buddies or whoever at a table rolling dice and like kind of just choosing how you interact with the world. A lot of the basic stuff is done automatically. Like perception checks are just done all the time. So if you're walking around, sometimes something will just like appear because one of your party members rolled essentially a perception check that allowed them to see it or naturally see it. You can just like use abilities anywhere in the world to do different stuff. For example, I just decided in this one like dungeon thing very close in the beginning of the game that I just wanted to light all of the like sconces and torches and stuff in this room. So a bunch of them you can just click on, but some of them are hanging from the ceiling. So I just decided to use like a fireball cantrip to like light those, and that shit works. Like just stuff like that really lets you play within the world, and stuff like that is just incredible. I kind of made an allusion to it before, but one of the things like where it really had me is I got into a fight with a group and they just kicked my shit and it was so bad. So I reloaded the save because, like, I lost everybody. I was like, okay, let's see if this works. Cast Mage Hand, closed the door and locked it, and then just stole all their shit and left. The next time, I was like, yeah, there we go. That works. Perfect. And it's just those little interactions where if you were at a table, you would be like, okay, I cast this and I closed the door or whatever. And, like, you can just choose whatever you want to do in this world. It's very good. Also, the fact that it has a narrator and everything is voice acted, so the whole time. The only thing that's not voice acted are like your lines of your character, because you're the one just choosing the options or whatever, but everybody will react to what you say and stuff, and you can butt in with different characters in the conversations. Depending on which character in your party starts a conversation, you can have different outcomes based on their background. I spend a bunch of time in the character editor just looking through like what the different like backgrounds and stuff for the different characters you can get, and like how I want to build my dude. Yeah, the game is just absolutely incredible. It's one of the best games I've played in a long time. Unfortunately, it's one of those games that's huge, and I have a lot of other games to play, so I think I'm going to be picking away at this with every other giant game that's come out and coming out this year for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's just such a cool product.
Well, hopefully you finish Zelda, and then you have the rest of the month before Starfield.
Yeah, I mean, Starfield is the one that's looming right now that's just like, I have so much to catch up on before this comes out.
And then October, you have like 8 games to play, so...
I am seriously considering taking a week off. Well, I need to take time off for vacation coming up anyway. I'm considering just taking a week
so that
off.
you can you can actually get to work, because it's business time.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, kinda. Like, yeah, just sit there and like play Baldur's Gate for a week and see if I can get halfway done that thing or something.
You're gonna get to the end of that week and you'll be like, oh, finally I can go back to work and relax. I can take a load off.
Yeah. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 I definitely think is going to be one of those polarizing things of people are going to love it or hate it depending on how they feel about high fantasy, tabletop RPG stuff in general. It is interesting to me to how big that thing got just by word of mouth and the way people talk about it, because I think it is going to not be a lot of people's bag, but I think a lot of people are going to feel like they have to like it because it got so much hype and talk about it. I'm
definitely feeling some FOMO. I don't think my computer would run it very well, and I'm hearing it doesn't run very well on the Steam Deck.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately,
that's too bad.
So I was looking into the console releases, and it gets this coming to PlayStation next month. It's not coming
September.
to Xbox. I was just reading up why, and I guess there's some rule on when you're developing a game for Xbox that you have to be like feature parity between the Series S and X, and they're really struggling to make it run correctly on the S. So they're just like,
Sure.
I guess we're not going to make an Xbox version. So that's kind of interesting.
That is interesting, huh? I am curious how you would find it. Do you have like a background with CRPGs and this type of thing?
No, not really. Like maybe the closest thing would be like the first Mass Effect or Dragon Age Origins, and I kind of bounced off of Dragon Age Origins. I say Mass Effect just because with the history and BioWare of the series, but I'd been wanting to get into Divinity for so long and just never had a ton of open game time.
Yeah.
But I've had it like access to it forever and been wanting to really get to it, and I have a friend who's super into it. And then this one, yeah, everyone's losing their mind, so it's like, man, I got the FOMO hard right now.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you have to say about it. I don't know that the thing is that like it's not a game I would just recommend to someone blindly, because it seems like the game that if you are the type of person that want it, you already have it at this point. Like, I don't need to recommend it, right? Like, I don't know.
I'm feeling like there's enough high praise that I'll get something out of it. From everything I'm hearing, there's something that's like, oh well, I hate that. Like,
and actually, the one thing
you'd probably have to be a sports game for me to write you off entirely, just without even like doing any research.
Fair enough. The one thing that like can kind of be a bummer with this type of game is that sometimes they start off kind of slow story-wise. This gets you right in there. Like, you wake up in the fucking Mind Flayer's den, essentially, and shit is blowing up everywhere, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And it just...
And that, you're saying that's a bummer?
No, that's awesome. Usually how it starts is, like, kind of slow. So...
Okay.
Yeah, no, it went immediately. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, it's very cool how it starts off. And then it slows down a little bit, but I mean, by that point, you're finding new characters and you're kind of creating your party, so it makes sense that it would slow down just a little bit.
And you're liking the story and stuff?
Yeah, so far so good. I came to a kind of a weird thing in my head where there's a character that's like on the cover art and all this stuff for this game that she talked to me a way I didn't like, so I killed her. And then I was like, well, whatever. That's what I would do, and like, this is my story anyway, so like, I'm gonna see what happens when you do that.
I thought you were about to say real life, and I was about to be like, you sure about that?
No. No, but like I didn't think that it would be in my character's character to like take that type of bullshit, even though she is a main character. So I had this weird like thing in my head of, do I metagame this? And like, I know that she probably has like a giant story arc or whatever, because she's part of like the promo art and all that sort of shit. So like, obviously this character is probably important and well written, but also my character wouldn't put up with this shit, and I can murk her right now because she's being like really shitty to some other characters that I just met or whatever. So I just decided to go with what I felt was right and not like what the game probably wanted me to do. And the fact that it allowed me to and stuff, like, that's the sort of stuff I like.
Maybe that just brought down, the how long to beat for you, so you can get to some other games sooner.
Yeah, perfect.
You're playing smarter, not harder. Let's go.
Yeah. And I got to take all that person's gear. So one of my characters is already geared out a little bit.
There you go.
So, yeah. No, Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing if you're the right type of person for it.
Okay. And John, you going to give it a second shot, or you're done?
I don't know. It's tough because I recognize it is a good game. I know there's something there that might actually interest me, but like it hits a lot of the notes I just instinctively hate from that kind of game. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think
I might try to
get
give it a
better.
second chance. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. I'm like, I see all these people posting these clips that are like funny, like all these like really interesting points that are on. I'm like, I'm gonna have more FOMO from being like, well, I literally am missing out because I tried it and it didn't click.
Doesn't it have co-op?
It does.
Yeah, up to 4 players.
Yeah, maybe you should like bring in some buddies. Maybe that'll help you out.
I find most games I try in co-op I like less. It's why I stopped playing Borderlands.
Okay.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
See, I find co-op really helps Borderlands.
It depends, because like my issue when I was playing co-op Borderlands is that people wanted to go through story elements faster than I did, so I didn't quite get to enjoy things the way I wanted.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I could see that.
Yeah. So I feel like Baldur's Gate would have the exact same issue. So.
Also, I just want to throw out one thing for people that are playing Baldur's Gate. Jump and shove are two of the best abilities in that game. Use them all the time.
Okay. That's in real life too.
Yep.
Yeah, always jump and shove.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can jump, you should feel fortunate. Because if you can't, I bet that sucks.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's everything John played. Paul, why don't you keep going?
Well, John doing his influencer job influencing me this week, and I picked up Probo Rush and Full Moon Rush, that
nice,
that pack or whatever that he was talking about last week.
Nice.
I only played.
Used his promo code. He got a bit of a kickback, I'm assuming.
I wish.
Yeah. I wish Steam did have something like that, but no, they don't.
Wasn't Epic?
Epic does, yeah.
Epic does, yeah.
Epic does, yeah. Okay.
So I only played Probo Rush so far, the one that he played last week, so I'm just gonna tag onto that. That game's good. It's infuriating that you don't have a duck like you would in Contra, and a lot of situations in that game feel like you should be able to fucking duck. But it's fun. It's a good game. Nothing really new to add on to it, except that I started up Full Moon Rush just to kind of take a look at it. I didn't get too far into it. And I found it funny that Full Moon Rush, you play as one of the bosses from Probo Rush, the three dinosaur people, the lizard people or whatever, and that was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. I think Probo Rush was interesting because like it gave you a dash feature, so you were supposed to like actually like dodge bullets in that one. But like one of the bosses was just disgustingly awful. Like I hated fighting that boss.
In Probo
but
Rush?
we found in Probo, not in Probo, in Full Moon.
Rush. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But one funny thing about that is we got all the so most of the achievements in the game are just like beat stage 1, beat boss 2, beat boss 3, etc.
Right.
And then beat all bosses. There's one achievement for beat boss rush with just 1 heart. So like every time you die, it forces you to restart the boss you're on. apparently you can turn on the accessibility features and just turn on invincibility, and it still gives you the achievement. So guess who's
That's
got
great.
full achievements on both games, baby?
That's fun. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was a specific
when
boss
you go to heaven, you're gonna have to like admit that at the gates. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to come
Yeah.
clean.
as one of the
As long as
sins.
you're okay with that.
Say Peter's gonna be like, "Give me your PlayStation Network account.
Yeah,
Give me
you're
your
gonna have
Steam
to
account.
you're gonna have
I
to
gotta check
justify
my
that.
achievements."
Yeah. Probo Rush
Front
was
of
fun.
everyone.
I think some of those bosses are kind of designed a little bad, and that's all because you can't duck. Honestly,
Yeah.
like so much of that,
Absolutely.
my problems with that game would be different if you could go prone like you could in Contra. Like it's
I'm
almost there.
curious how you're gonna
jump?
feel about Full Moon, because Full Moon you're shorter and the dash helps, but the dash doesn't have invincibility frames when it ends. So I find myself
Oh.
constantly dashing and still getting damaged.
Okay.
But like the shorter stature was interesting, but the weapon change is what messed me up, because the way the spread gun works is that the farther away you are, the more damage it does,
Okay.
which
Huh.
is weird.
That is weird.
It's weird to get used to. I think out of the two, personally, I felt I liked Probo Rush more, but
Okay.
I also got really frustrated on one of the bosses in Full Moon. So I'm curious to see how you'll feel.
Also, Probo Rush had the Contra problem of like, oh, there's like two really good guns. Like, there's
Yeah.
no time ever I'm going to use homing missiles. I tried a few bosses, thinking, is this the boss that homing missiles are just amazing on? The answer is fucking no. No to
No.
all of them. They're terrible.
It's spread shot and flamethrower, and sometimes if you can't get enough, if you need to aim a bit more directly, the machine gun.
Yeah,
But it's usually
sometimes-
spread and fire.
Sometimes you just like hold that trigger and shoot that machine gun with you standing in place, like in the perfect spot, and you just win, which is
Yeah.
great because you just gotta find that spot, and that's it
That's
feels
Contra,
good.
baby.
It's Contra, yeah. That game is cool though.
You can't duck. Can you jump?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I would argue if you have the physical ability to jump, you have the physical ability to duck.
You mean
Those
legs?
no muscle
You have
mechanics.
legs.
Can't bend your knees. Can't bend your knees. That's it.
But how are you jumping if you can't bend your knees?
Rocket shoes.
I would even
Is
argue.
that what's happening?
I would
No.
even argue you should be able to go prone, even if you can't jump, because all you have to do is fall.
Yeah, no, you should.
It is kind of dumb. There's a couple times where I'm like, why can't I duck?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, I argue yes, you should be able to always go prone once.
Yeah,
And
once.
You cannot get back up.
Fair.
You
yeah.
have one prone, make it count.
Yeah, no,
You're
fair.
gonna be stuck after that, unless you can find like a ledge to fall off of,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to stand again.
I guess my only other qualm with Probo Rush at all is that some of those bosses' attacks are like not readable in a good way. But that's okay
Yep.
because it's just play the fight and then die and then learn it and then you do it. Like that's what
If
it
the
is.
game didn't put you back in so fast, it would be definitely annoying.
Yeah, and they know what they're doing. The music doesn't stop playing when you die. They get you back in right away. Like they expect that you're going to die a few times learning the fight, and that's fine. The next game I played a little bit of is Palia. I don't know how to say this thing, but this is the MMO farming cozy sim thing that is coming out or whatever. I think it goes into open beta today, actually. Now that I see.
Okay, yeah, I think this was on some stream. This looks familiar.
Yeah, you go around, you mine some rocks, and you cut down some trees, and you build a house and farm, and it's one of those. The draw to this one is that it's an MMO, and you can play with your friends and kind of like have a farm plot or like sweatshop or something together. I don't know, whatever you want to do. It's fine. If you like that type of game, like a Stardew or something, you want it more in a 3D, like almost think Fortnite type feel and how it moves and plays, but farming sim type thing. That's what this is, and maybe you should look into it.
Okay.
I lost my life this week to Neon Noodles. Neon Noodles is a puzzle game that came out, but was made by a fellow Calgarian. I'll just shout out first, Vivid Helix on Twitter. And this is a...
Oh, so you're biased, and we can't take his opinion
I am
seriously.
very
All right.
biased. I did pay for this game,
Got it.
though. Actually, it's funny because the reason I bought this game was because it was a Calgarian. Like, I didn't have like
Probably
a huge...
paid for it with your fake Calgarian money.
Yeah, that's true. My Calgary Bucks. I bought it to support like local
Maybe
essentially.
entire dollars.
And I thought that like I'd play for an hour and be like, okay, it's fine or whatever. And I couldn't stop playing it. It is a Zachtronics type automation factory type game where you are running a kitchen and you are making recipes by having like conveyor belts and robots make food, make recipes or whatever. Think like Opus Magnum, Magnum Opus. It's one of those. I can't remember the Zachtronics game, but dumbed down a lot because that game is intense in what you have to do with the alchemy stuff. This is much easier to read and makes like a little bit of sense, even though it's a bit silly, like taking a cow and then grinding it down into meat sort of thing. But like the symbols all make sense. This game makes me feel stupid and smart at the same time, which is exactly what I want from a puzzle game. And yeah, I just completely fell in love with it. My main problem with it is that it's very indie in that I got to a point where stuff just started breaking and made me have to restart levels sometimes, and that's really frustrating. Okay. So there's bugs. There be bugs in Neon Noodles, but overall, I think it has a pretty good feel to it, pretty good setting, and I lost a lot of time in it. Along the same lines, Word Factory came out. This is kind of the same idea, but you are putting lines together to make letters and then letters together to make words. You are automating word and letter making. I don't know how else to explain it.
I'm trying to, like I don't fully get it. I'm
Okay.
kind of watching this trailer.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. The first thing
Looks like you're also building the letters. Like they built
Yes.
a D using like an I and a C.
So everything
Is it
starts
like-
with an I, because an I is just a vertical line, essentially, in this game. So the first thing that make you do is build a V. So what you do is you make a factory that builds I's, and then you connect it to a multiplying factory twice so that it's putting two I's together to make a V. And then later on, you'll make an A, and then A is by making a V and then making a factory that mirrors things so that the like V is upside down, and then making another I turned and then combining that with the upside down V to make an A. And then eventually you'll like spell dog or like whatever.
Visually, it kind of reminds me of Mini Metro. Not that I think it plays like that, but just like art style wise.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't play like that. But yeah, I could see it for sure. It's cutesy. It's super fun. I got really, really into puzzle shit this week, like super deep in there. So this is what's part of that. All right. So Neon Noodles and Word Factory, if you want automation type games, super satisfying, both very good. I think both pretty cheap. Neon Noodles is I think $15 or something, and Word Factory's like $7.
Word Factory's like $7.
Yeah. Out of the two, maybe Word Factory is probably like the better one, just because it didn't make me lose a bunch of progress to a bug. I'm a little salty.
The more stable one.
Yeah, the more stable one, and maybe like I think the more novel one too. It's just kind of cool building the letters and trying to figure out like how to build a B or whatever. Stuff
Sucks
like
to be Calgary guy, I guess.
Yeah, sucks to suck. A few weeks ago, you said, "Are you getting excited for Monster Hunter Now, the mobile game from Niantic?" I said no. I've been playing hours of Monster Hunter Now this week.
You absolute sucker. All right. Went on walks.
Womp womp.
Yes. So I've been playing it mostly at work and like on my lunch break and just randomly while I'm sitting at my desk or whatever. It plays a lot like Pokemon Go in that you have an overworld and your little avatar and there's like stuff popping up around and you click on or tap on a thing. So like a mining node, you'll tap on it and you'll get whatever from it, or like same with plants and stuff like that. And of course there's monsters roaming around. You tap on them and you go into kind of like a little screen where you have to fight them, and you fight by tapping on the screen to like do different combos and movesets and stuff depending on your weapon. It's pretty fun. I don't know, there's nothing crazy about it. I think I like that there's actual movement and mechanics to it, unlike Pokemon where you're just kind of throwing a ball, like you're swiping and trying to like dodge the monsters that are attacking you and get like timings off and stuff like that. So like that part's pretty fun to me. But if you're a Monster Hunter
What is the
fan,
like progression? Like, are you collecting monster parts or?
you're collecting monster parts to build gear and weapons and stuff like that, but the progression is mostly there's kind of like chapters or a story mode, but there's no story. It's just kind of like you doing different challenges or missions or whatever. And every time you complete one of those, you claim it and you get a bunch of experience and you level up. And as you level up, you get access to harder monsters and more armor sets and stuff like that. So pretty standard Monster Hunter progression. I don't like that there's a health bar on the monsters. As a Monster Hunter fan, like, I don't like that to see how much damage I'm doing and how, like, much the monster has left. That just feels like something that I shouldn't know or something. Like, I'm
is that
hacking.
not in Monster Hunter?
No, because in Monster Hunter,
okay.
There's, like, the fights are big enough that eventually they'll start, like, limping or, like, slowing down or whatever. There's no time for that sort of stuff here. These fights are, I think, 75 seconds long at the maximum, and then you fail if you don't beat the monster in that time. I finally got to the point where I unlocked every weapon in the game, or the ability to make every weapon in the game, but I've only been using the Great Sword. They start you with the sword and shield for, like, the first 10 ranks. I think I'm rank 15 or 16 right now. And, yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's a little thing that you can do in your spare time. A smart decision they made is that because the fights are involved and you kind of have to take at least a minute to do some of them, they put paintballs in the game so that you can mark a monster and fight it later when you're like sitting somewhere or like in a spot where you can wait for a minute. So if you're like on a walk or something and you see a cool monster that you need parts from or whatever, you can start the fight, hit it with a paintball, and then it kind of saves it so that you can fight it later when you're like on your couch or at your desk or something. And I think that was a cool idea.
Nice.
Yeah. That thing's fine. I don't think that's out across the world yet, right? I think that's in like a beta period right now. It comes out next month sometime.
Yeah, I don't think America has it yet.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where I think it's like Canada, New Zealand, and like Peru or some weird shit.
Something like that,
yeah. For Monster Hunter fans, like all the monsters that you enjoy are in there that I've seen so far, and it's probably worth checking out just for something to do if you're going out for walks or hanging out. You can fight monsters with other people too if they're in the area. You just kind of like click on a monster or tap on a monster. It brings up the screen that says like hunt now, hunt with people or whatever, and it'll tell you how many people in the vicinity can also hunt with you, and then it'll go into like a lobby system. So there's some cool ideas in there. I think it's fine, especially because it's free. It does have the weird microtransaction-y stuff of like you buy, I can't remember what it is. I think it's gems or something, and gems you can use to like buy in-game currency or supplies or whatever, but I think that's just kind of a Niantic thing in general now. They all do that.
Gotta make money somehow.
Yep. And I was gonna ask John one thing. I don't really want to talk about it much because I don't think it's great, but have you played Catboy?
Haven't heard of it.
Okay. Check out Catboy. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about it, because it has Super Nintendo platform qualities to it, and that is both a good and bad thing. It has that
right there, I guess.
it has that
Super
old
Catboy?
Super Catboy, yeah. It has that old jank, but I think it's beautiful looking. It nails the art style.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I think it's a John game because you have the patience to put up with some of its bullshit, and it's okay. It's an okay game, and I'd be interested what you have to say about it. It's like 2 hours long. It's short.
All right, I'll throw that on my wish list.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, I've been playing Telltale's The Expanse. There are 2 episodes out now. The second episode came out today, and I played through that. Each episode is coming out 2 weeks apart. I think it's okay. It's a pretty slow start, and I actually feel like it's seeming like this is going to be kind of a short season. I want to say like episode 2 took me maybe an hour. Episode 1 maybe like 2 hours or so. I guess
Wow.
what's kind of unique that this one has is you're in space, so you can, quote unquote fly around. So they put you in these kind of big areas in kind of the middle of the episodes where you're just like flying around destroyed spaceships and going into different corridors and like searching for stuff. And I guess that would kind of add out a bit more of the timing, or you can just kind of follow the waypoint and stuff like that too. I actually think episode 1 and 2 should have been kind of the first episode, because I think that episode 2 is a kind of a nice ending to like that initial arc. So I have a feeling the whole thing is going to be on the shorter side, from what it feels like. I don't know for sure though. We'll have to see. But if you're a fan of the show, so for people who don't know, this is a prequel to the show, so you don't have to have seen the show at all, because there's going to be like no real references to that since it's happening beforehand. Same with like the books.
Right.
I come to this from having watched the show, and it stars Kamina Drummer, which is like a fan favorite character in the series. They got the voice actor for most of the characters. There's a couple characters that show up, specifically Kamina's there. They got her voice actor, which is good because she was fantastic. I heard like an audio log of another character that they got the right actor for that. I think I've heard other audio logs where they didn't get the right character, but I almost kind of forgot about that guy, so it's not bugging me too much. They got Kamina, and that's the one you want. That's good. Other than her, it's a whole new cast that you're on the ship for and stuff. I think it looks pretty nice. The lighting is pretty good. I was looking it up though, because I was like, okay, so Telltale's back. I know they got some of the old devs and whatnot. Did they do a different engine? And no, it's the Telltale engine. So every time there's a new scene or like camera change, there's texture pop in. Characters, they look like what you expect. The teeth look kind of weird. Big mouths with lots of teeth, really toothy characters. And they have actually changed though the the conversation mechanics slightly. Before, it was a standard like you'd have 4 options. One of them is like ... Now it's like you have 2 choices as you go through these conversations. So it's a little more limited in scope, it seems like. I think if you're a fan of these games, this is going to be another one that you'll enjoy. It is on the slower side. You might think I have no interest in the Expanse. I do feel like you get more out of it if you do have an interest in the Expanse, but with it being a prequel and totally separate, it's safe to play in my opinion. And just being able to like fly around, or even again because you're in space and they have meg boots. You can walk on walls, so that's always just kind of fun, is just like walking like towards a wall and then up it, and then the whole camera shifts and you can just like play on the wall.
That's cool.
So it's just kind of a cool environment to like play one of these games in and stuff like that. And the first one is kind of like a murder mystery. You're coming to this destroyed ship and finding what's going on, and there's like a bunch of severed heads everywhere, and so there's some intrigue and stuff going on there.
If I'm enjoying it, but was like, all right, Sean, this weekend, I've been wanting to get in the Expanse, and I'm gonna play this game and watch this show all this week. Which one would I start with? Okay. Like, would I get more out of the game from watching the show, or more out of the show from watching the game and kind of being excited for some of that stuff?
So the game hasn't touched on anything in the show yet.
At all. Okay.
No, like and I'm wondering, like, because at the moment the characters are heading to an area, and I'm wondering, like, okay, is there going to be something in that area that is from the show? But so far, no, like, it does not touch on it.
Okay.
I will say the Expanse's first season is like its weakest, and it's also like way different than the rest of the seasons. So it's also kind of a weird show to watch. But
okay.
I think you'd be fine with either. I don't think they're going to affect one another. You're not going to watch enough of the Expanse to even meet this character. She comes in like season maybe 3 or something like that. She's definitely not in season 1.
Okay.
So even that part's not there. They're going to be kind of separate for you for a bit.
Gotcha.
That's the answer I have for you. But the Expanse is good. Like, I recommend the Expanse. It's a cool show.
Cool.
Just staying on the whole kind of visual novel thing, I've been playing Harmony something Reverie. What is that game called? Harmony.
Oh no.
Fall of Reverie. This is the latest game from Don't Nod.
Right.
Which is kind of funny. So Don't Nod made Life is Strange, and The Expanse, published by Deck 9, made Life is Strange. So I had a big Life is Strange alumni weekend and week. But Harmony is from Don't Nod. It is fully just a visual novel. You're not walking around at any point. But the unique thing here is when the decisions are being made, instead of it happening in like conversation, you'll go through just like a one-on-one back and forth. You're just reading conversation between people. And then it'll come out to the thing that they call the augural, because you're an oracle-like figure. It can see a little bit into the future, and you can basically see the flow chart that the devs are probably making when they have to make these decision-based visual novels, where it's like, hey, if they select this, it's going to spin off this way. Here's the rest of the story for this branch. Here's the rest of the story for this branch. You can see where those splits happen, and a very little bit of like, what does this split involve? Not enough to be like, okay, everything's going to like go bad if I click this one. Everything goes good if I click this one. It's more just like, should I talk to this guy now, or should I take this guy's plan, or should I go on my own path? And then you can kind of move off, and you can see the whole flow chart. But the further away the flowchart gets, the less info you have. And there's a ton of icons that are things like this node is inevitable. You're always going to have to do this one before you can do the rest. Or this one takes 2 turns before it unlocks. So you're going to have to go talk to 2 other people first. Then this will unlock and you can progress like the story through that way. And then the way it gets more complicated from there is the storyline, the narrative going on in Harmony is you're in this like quasi near futuristic city set on an island that you grew up in. So there's like drones and stuff. You moved away, you came back, and your mother is missing, and you find her necklace, and the necklace transports you to this other world where concepts are humanized to the point of like, okay, this person represents glory and the concept of glory. This person represents bliss. This person represents bond, and that's their names. And it's so while you're going through these kind of conversation flowcharts, you're like, if you do this one, it's going to get you like a 1 point in the bond bucket. If you kind of think of it in a tabletop role playing of like, this is going to get you a bond point. This is going to get you a chaos point. If you want to do this one, you're going to have to pay a bliss point, but you're going to get a power point. And there will be some nodes that you can only access if you have enough of those, like, you know, like currency built up. So if you want to play like, I want everyone to be really happy, you're going to kind of go like a bliss route through these flow charts. I want everyone to be like kind of aggressive and power through these arguments. You're going to get power points, and these concept, these beings that you can communicate with are kind of impacting what this world going on, and it ends up being this kind of capitalist. The main bad guy is like the capitalist business that kind of owns most of the island, and so you're trying to like save this place from this corporation, this like mega corporation.
Okay.
I think it's pretty cool. I wish that when you were going through the flowchart, it felt like I had a little bit more say. It did kind of feel like, oh, no matter what, I was going to end up here anyways.
Kind of on rails or something. Yeah.
A little bit on rails until kind of the end, because it does have like 3 different endings. Then I actually felt like, oh, I know what I want to do. I'm going to make sure I get that. So there's a bit of that, but I feel like I just wish I could have had more. And that's kind of the problem with a lot of these ones, is they always kind of funnel back. And this time I can just kind of see it like laid out for me. And I will say it was a bit slow. That was kind of the biggest knock against it, is the story just kind of took a little bit to get going. That on top of them like having to like tutorialize all these concepts was like, okay, there's kind of a lot here. I don't know how much of this is super important, and the story's a bit slow. So I think it has like a kind of a weak first hour, unfortunately. But it's unique in it. So if you like visual novels and you want something kind of unique in that space, it's Harmony: The Fall of Reverie.
I do have a quick question for you on the visual novel train, since you are the visual novel guy in the podcast.
Sure, yeah, I know how to read. Yep.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Are you excited for or going to play Stray Gods, the role-playing musical? That came out today.
It wasn't on my radar, but I guess I need to look it up now.
Okay. I was just going to ask because...
It's a visual novel?
I think so. It looks like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've been kind of excited for it, but like I kind of want an opinion on it before. It's like $40, so it's a bit out of the range of like I just.
That's a bit. I'm playing a lot of games right now, so that's
right.
We'll see.
That's why I was wondering if it was on your radar. If it's not, maybe I'll look up a random YouTube video on it or something.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, getting off the visual novel train, I want to talk about Exoprimal.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
I've been playing that. I like Exoprimal because I like Overwatch, and this is basically Overwatch. I also think the concept of this island just has dinosaurs that fall out of the sky. Like there is a level of goofy and serious that this game is and this narrative is taking it that I think is like working really well. Whereas like because it's all about and like this weird AI has trapped people from different time periods on the island to constantly fight dinosaurs. And
how much did you play?
Just the idea of like, pardon?
How much did you play? I'm just curious.
So the way they dish out the story to you is like after you play a certain number of matches, here's another cutscene, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I've unlocked the third cutscene, which I think means I've played maybe like 20 matches or so.
Okay. Did a character come and say like, I need you to do stuff while I gang data or whatever? While I do...
I don't know. That sounds like the most generic video game thing ever.
I know. I can't remember his name even, but basically it's like the first time the game changes at all. And it never changes.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's sounding like you're not into this game?
I mean, I've played like 10 hours of it, but no, not really.
That's a sizable chunk. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the thing about this game is that it harkens back to a time of the PS2 where people where companies were just making whatever and kind of throwing it out. So there's things about it I like, where you are just playing like slightly worse moving Warframe with dinosaurs consistently attacking you like the War Z or World War Z or whatever.
I just love when they're just like incoming raptors and then portals open in the sky and they just not even like spawning them like feet first. They're just coming out of the portal like it's water.
They're pouring
just
them
dropping
out.
These raptors down
that
are fighting you. When you lose, your guy just gets ripped apart by dinosaurs. Like
yes.
This game is so goofy and like dinosaurs cold and then you move to the next thing. That is such a silly line, but it's like perfect. Like I think it's teetering this line that is of comedy that is really working for me.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with you. I just think it's worse EDF is the problem. Because
that was honestly what I was kind of worried about with the game. I was like, this looks EDF-esque.
But EDF does more. Like, it's literally what we're talking about. The game never changes. It's literally that same thing with sometimes a little different objective in between. But it's always that. It never changes or evolves, ever.
I was wondering kind of how different things would get. Am I going to unlock new areas or anything like that? Because right now there's two modes. There's PvP where, and I guess both the modes start the same. You're constantly moving from one location to the next, fighting dinosaurs, and then if you chose PvP or PvE, at the end of it, you will either have to move a payload, Overwatch style, to the end.
That's
and
random.
At the end of the track is the other team is the finish lines are like next to each other, so eventually they're gonna have to fight each other. Or PvP where you just both get an objective and whoever does it faster wins. But in PvE though, or no, sorry, PvP, you get to take over a T-Rex and infiltrate their side and then fight them as a giant T-Rex.
In both modes. It's literally the same. except the only difference is, do you see them and fight them at the end, or do you just race?
Yeah.
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 And that's fine. Like,
Even
I just wish there was more, is my problem, really.
okay. Well, I'm wondering if like how successful this is doing, because like they put it on Game Pass. That's how I'm playing it.
Me too.
So they got some kind of like audience there, I'm sure, like a bump for that. I would be down. I would love them to put more into this, because it's like a hero shooter for the most part, and I like playing with the different characters. I think they're fun.
Which one's been your go-to?
I haven't really found a go-to yet, because I'm kind of just going through them one at a time to like get their like killed this many achievement with each one. So I've done like the first guy. I'm working on Zephyr, which he has like a couple, like two short swords. I've done Witch Doctor and Skywave, the support ones. I guess I've played whatever the first tank is.
Witch Doctor is fun.
That is basically kind of like Reinhardt with a big shield.
Yeah.
I liked the first guy. A lot.
The first one's my main, because it's the best one all around in the game.
Deadeye or Deadbolt or something like that.
It just does a whole bunch of damage, like using the gun, sustained damage, and it does a big explosion that can kill a lot of dinos at once. Like, why would you ever play anything
when you
else?
throw like the grenade, that look like it's great, and you see all the damage numbers for each individual one. Like, that's super fun.
Okay, I will say, you need to play more, because that mission I'm talking about, it's kind of like a story mission where some guy's like, hey, I'm gonna get you off this rock or whatever, but I need you to do something for me. And you're
yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Okay,
Okay.
So you gotta play that, because the way that mission ends is fucking hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, this game seems like it's like not taking itself seriously, but it's like it's being super straight face about it. So I'm like, this is so good. This is the comedy I want. Like this, I love this.
There's crossplay, right? We could play, you and I guess.
Yeah, we could. Yep,
Just haven't
absolutely.
Really thought about it.
Okay, and then last game, speaking of Overwatch 2 today came out with their new season 6, and what is important about this is the one where they are putting some story mode stuff into it.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of like the biggest season for Overwatch 2 since it came out. Which I guess it came out like a year ago, so it's like almost the 1 year anniversary. The way to get into this though is you need to buy the story missions.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. Luckily, though, if you buy the pack that has the story missions, it's $15, and they will give you $10 worth of coins, which is the price of the battle pass.
Okay.
So if you were gonna get the battle pass anyways, it's $5 for these story missions.
Honestly, I'm kind of fine with that. To be honest, with you.
Seems just about okay. It's a free to play game, so the regular game is still free. This is the extra stuff. So the way the extra stuff works is you get 3 missions up front they last about 20 minutes long each. They recorded a ton of new voice lines, and those are pretty unique and kind of cool to go through. They're all co-op. It's like you and a team of 4 are going through these like 20-minute long missions through. They're like quasi-unique areas. They're maps from the game that they've expanded out a ton, so you'll kind of like come into, this is the part where the payload usually is, and then you'll kind of exit that to a new area, and you'll come back, this is where it usually ends, and it's they've just expanded them quite a bit. I've only played the first 2 because you have to like beat one to move on to the next one, and I only played the first 2. They have 4 difficulty modes each, so they want you to replay them because there's like challenges associated with each mission to try and play them. I don't know if I'm going to play them again. 20 minutes is kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm playing Overwatch, I would rather just play 20 minutes worth of regular matches.
Yeah, sure.
And then on top of that, they're having, over the course of the next month, every week they're going to have like an additional mode that is mission that's going to kind of rotate in and out. So technically, you have 4 missions you're going to get right now on like day 1. And they're all kind of story based and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. So that's what you're going to get for your $5. On top of that, they've also added in a new game mode type. It's kind of like capture the King of the Hill, which they already had, but this one like moves around these like really big maps, and whoever captures 3 of them first wins. So that's just kind of a new twist. There's new maps that are specific to that. Obviously, they have a new character, stuff like that. So, I'm liking it. I think I'm getting my $5 worth. Like, I probably played it for about 2 hours, just the new stuff.
Okay.
That was worth $5 for me. Like I was gonna get the battle pass anyway, so that it made sense just to pay the 15 and get that all together.
Sure. Cool.
So yeah, if you've been curious about Overwatch, now's a pretty good time because there's a lot of fun and unique stuff. Or if you want to been thinking about coming back to Overwatch, now's a pretty good time to do that.
Okay. Cool.
All right, that's everything I played. Man, we played a lot this week.
Yeah.
Let's do some news stories. Luckily, most of these are pretty short. Quake 2 like remaster dropped out of nowhere today.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw people talking about that. That's cool.
Machine Games made a 28 mission long campaign for it that's brand new.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's some like new Quake 2 out that you can now play.
I heard the N64 version's also in it, which I think is supposed to be a different game.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I
That's
didn't hear that
cool,
one.
too.
I don't know. I first saw this that it's coming to. It's already on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you have Quake 2 and that stuff. But
Cool.
fun surprise drop. Good for them.
Yeah.
There was a Devolver Delayed. Did you guys watch this live stream? It was 3 minutes long.
No, I didn't.
I just kind of love that they did this. They were talking about all the games courageous enough to move to 2024.
Courageous enough.
So they have a bit of a roundup here. Plucky Squire, Pepper Grinder, Stick It to the Stickman, Angerfoot, and Skate Story all got pushed to 2024.
Oh, a bunch of those I was really excited for.
Angerfoot. Damn.
Pepper Grinder.
I'm excited for a
Angerfoot.
bunch of these. Please take as much time as you need. I got too much to play. Like
You're not wrong.
it is not worth it. They talked about some stuff still coming out. Then they just real briefly were like, by the way, McPixel 3 DLC coming.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there was like a new announcement and stuff in there too. So anyway, yeah, that was the Devolver Delayed. You guys it's on their YouTube. You can check that out. Funny joke. Those guys are funny.
Yeah.
Just before we went live, the Lollipop Chainsaw Repop remake, which I forgot was real, that got delayed to 2024 as well.
I wonder why. Okay. Fair enough.
We got actual confirmation that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is coming and a release date of November 10th.
I'm there. I can't wait.
And I didn't really see this happening. Red Dead is coming to Switch and PS4 on August 17th.
Yeah,
but not Xbox for some reason.
And this is just
I
a
think
port. There's no like updates to it at all, apparently.
Right. I believe the reason it's not doing Xbox is because Xbox already has backwards compatibility for the 360 version of Red Dead, so you can play this version of it on Xbox.
Okay, that would make more sense.
But there wasn't a PS4 version. Now there will be, and now you guess you can play it on the Switch if you're that person?
Yeah. It does come with
apparently
Undead
it
Nightmare
is full
packed
price,
in.
$50. Yeah.
Oh, yep. I mean, it's a good game. I don't know who the Switch owner that wants to play Red Dead is, but now that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And Paul, you put this last one here.
So Dark and Darker, the game that we talked about a while back that was pulled from Steam and went into that weird lawsuit because the Korean developers were being sued by Nexon for stealing assets or ideas or whatever for this game, and there was kind of like a weird legal thing going on. They found another publisher and they released this on their site, so you can buy this early access game right now. I think it's $30 for like the main founder edition, or the main edition, or $50 for like the founder edition. And the thing that I find weird about this is that there's no like, we don't know if this game is going to like continue to exist. I think that lawsuit is not settled. So I was interested in playing this game again because I really like this game. So I was going to buy it until I realized, oh, I might just be throwing money out the window because this thing might not, like, they might legally have to pull it down. So I might.
Well, if you download it though, like it wouldn't that be yours, or does it like need to connect to a server to run?
Yeah, it's multiplayer. It's like Tarkov.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you can. So before, this is also the game that, if anybody remembers, they kind of released anyways a test for, even though it was pulled off Steam, using their own torrent that you could like download peer-to-peer off their server, but then that, of course, that led to like other people doing their own torrents and like weird malware and stuff going around. This game has had a weird series of events happen to it. But now, if you wanted to try it and you wanted to play it, you can legally go to their site, download their launcher, pay for it, and have the thing. I don't think we know what's going on with it. They're trying to get it back on Steam because, of course, they are. Like, it's the biggest PC.
Did you say how much it cost? Did I miss that?
Yeah, $30 for their, like, main version of it, but there's, like, a Founders Edition, which includes the technical tests or whatever for $50. So.
I got it.
Also, this game has microtransactions in it, which they are getting a lot of backlash for as well. They say that they're not going to do stuff like Skinner boxes or any of the weird like loot box type stuff in it, and it's just going to be things that you can buy in-game that like they don't have any weirdness to them or whatever, but still feels weird buying this game that we don't know legally if it's going to exist and being able to put money into it as well inside the game. There's a lot about this that is turning me off, which is unfortunate because the game itself is super fun. So we'll have to see what happens with it.
Okay. That does it for news. Let's do some questions. If you want to send a question in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on X, the Discord channel, or Sean's P.O. Box. No, John's P.O. Box.
Yeah.
Kevin writes, at what point in your life did you go from not having enough games to play to not having enough time to play games?
20. Age 20.
20? What happened at 20?
I was working full-time and no longer was doing school.
That's what I was going to say. I think the minute I started working full-time.
Yeah. For me, I think it was a little bit earlier. It was when I started working, my summer job was working at EB Games. That was when I'm like, okay, I've bought too many video games. I think I've got myself in trouble. And then I still kept doing it.
Because even like during school, I had a lot of free time. I played a lot of games during school. I remember like talking to people after high school and being like, no, I think I'm playing more games now than I was in high school. But yeah, full-time work probably took it out. That's the swap.
Yeah. Ahiave writes, arriving early at work, you discover one of your colleagues is 3 genies in a trench coat. They bribe you to keep this a secret, promising to magically pay for all your basic needs as long as you live, accommodation and clothes, food and drink, medical bills, etc. However, magic forces them to curse you. You will be unable to use one simple everyday item. The item could be toilet paper, could be trousers, door handles, or the like. You won't know what the item is until after you've taken the deal. What do you say to your colleague?
I don't think I take the deal.
The thing, yeah, so I was thinking about this a little bit. The thing is that if they're paying for everything, I don't need to go to work. So, like, I don't need to leave my house ever again.
Paying for basic needs. So, you'll survive, but, like, you probably won't have money for, like, fun stuff.
That's fine. I already don't really have money for fun stuff.
Well, somehow you bought these games.
Yeah, it might be nice to not be able to buy games for a while, actually.
I just think, like, toilet paper, that would suck. I know it's only one day, but it's like, oh god, is it another toilet paper day? Because it's probably going to come around, right? Like,
Where's the 1 day part coming in here? It just says you won't be able to use one simple everyday item.
Period. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I assumed it changed on a daily basis. So it's like okay, if I can never use toilet paper again, that's even worse.
It's pretty bad.
I don't think it's worth it.
I mean, you just have to use something else instead, I assume. I don't think they mean
how do you get
concept.
through life not being able to use door handles?
Windows.
You're going to climb into everyone's window.
I don't really go anywhere, so yeah, I guess so.
You're going to go to work and climb in the window. You're going to go to your car and climb in the window.
I mean, I would actually do that. That kind of sounds fun.
You're going to go to the movie theater and hope there's a window.
Oh, if I could never...
I mean, also, someone could just open the door. Could it be an automated door?
Or you have
to
have someone with you. It's like, this is my door opener.
Why not? Your basic needs are being met. You can afford it.
Sure.
I don't think it's worth it.
It would depend on how
So
inconvenient
trousers.
it got
you can't wear
because of
pants anymore, so you could wear like shorts.
Yeah,
shorts.
right.
That's gonna be bad for you
Leggings,
guys
skirts.
in Calgary.
True, winter would suck.
Yep.
I'd take it.
Okay. I don't think I'd take it.
Yeah. Because, like, what if the item is, like, you can't use forks or something? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I use chopsticks a lot, or I could.
I feel like forks you could get by with a spoon and a knife. It would be weird. It would be weird when you, like, go to a restaurant or, like, meet someone who you're trying to impress.
So, okay, here's a tangential question. What is the worst everyday item for it to be?
To lose
Phone.
out on?
Phone? Okay.
Um,
Not a bad
Maybe
one.
computer.
people survived without phones before.
Computer would be rough. Yeah.
Computer would be rough. I don't know. There's probably
Although
something
I think
really...
they're thinking even simpler than that. Like, what if it's soap?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like really mundane that you're gonna like I don't know, cups.
Yeah, I was thinking cups actually earlier.
Bottles. You're fine.
Yeah.
I would argue a bottle is a cup.
Yeah, if we get into that realm, though, so it's like if you say soap, I could say like shower gel or bath. So like, yeah, I don't. There's workarounds to a lot of stuff. Is the thing.
Like, what would you do if you couldn't use a toothbrush? Like, you'd use your finger?
Mouthwash.
That's not enough. There's no way that's enough. If that was enough, then big toothpaste has been lying to us forever.
Or yeah, like you said, just use your finger and go da 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 da.
Big
I don't. That's no.
toothpaste.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, knives would suck too. Like not being able to like chop things up.
That would be really bad. Actually, that's true.
Or it could even be something like you can't use stairs anymore. It's like, okay. What would you do, John? Like,
I'd get a ladder.
Just put it down on all the stairs and climb your way up. Chairs? That would suck.
Chairs would be awful.
Chairs would be bad.
Yeah, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I would take the deal mainly because I'm not the type of person to risk it anyway.
the risk is just like it's the it's the Oppenheimer trailer thing where it's like, what's the percent chance you're gonna blow up the Earth? And it's like it's near zero. He's like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that there's a small chance it could be something so useful. Yeah.
Well, if it's an everyday item, it's a big chance it's going to be something useful because you use it every day.
You do use it every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Soap. That would be so. I don't even know what you would do.
Bed would be a terrible one too.
Bed would be pretty bad to lose.
You could get around it with like, I don't know, a lazy boy recliner. Like there's ways to get around that. I just don't even, because I feel like anything that you would put in place of soap, you could make the argument that it's also soap.
Right, but then you could make the argument a lazy boy recliner is your new bed.
That's the thing. It's like, is it your bed or is it
right
categorized as a bed? Because I could say like, I sleep on the ground. It's my bed. Now
and then the ground disappears because your genie curse.
Oh no.
There's the monkey paw thing. Is it's like, yeah, there you go. That's the freaky stories. I want to live forever, but you keep aging.
Yeah. What if it gets like really dark and the item is like your eyeballs or something? The curses you can no longer see. Your everyday items.
I don't think anyone's classifying eyeballs as an everyday item. Like, oh,
I use mine every day. What do you mean?
That would be like, what's your daily carry? Well, I got my phone and my wallet and my lungs and my brain.
This is what I'm saying.
My head, my shoulders,
you could go really dark. You could no longer use your lungs. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Hayes Hero EX says, following the name of the podcast, tell us your favorite TDP game.
Hotline Miami.
What?
What's your favorite top-down
Oh, so I
perspective
see what you're
game?
saying. Okay, I thought we had to pick a game that had TDP as the initials.
Probably Smash TV.
Now Smash. Oh, Binding of Isaac is another great one.
Favorite one. Geometry Wars?
Yeah. You?
Might be Geometry Wars.
Oh, Geometry Wars is definitely. Oh, ooh.
It's a
Yeah,
good one, right?
it is a good one.
It's a very good one. That's one thing that I've been hearing some people saying is like if Xbox buys Activision, then they're bringing Geometry Wars home. Like,
Yeah.
get a new Geometry Wars? Oh man.
Cool.
Phantom just writes, "What brand type of toilet paper do you use? Unless you use a bidet, which will make me envious."
I use a bidet, but we also get cheap, like, I don't know, no-name brand, because
Hotmail, I think, is the brand we use.
it's literally paper
Whatever the
that you
Costco
wipe your
one
ass
is.
with. Like, yeah.
The Kirkland toilet
Yeah,
paper.
right?
We've got those little bottle travel bidets too. Reese got a bunch of those, so
I don't know what that is, but it sounds
it's literally a squirt
yucky.
bottle. It's literally a squirt bottle.
I am not down with the bidet. That's just me.
That is just you. Dead writes, Sean, why don't you join the cool cat club like the other cat-owning hosts?
I grew up with a cat. She was an asshole.
A shame.
I do like cats. I just happened to grow up with an asshole cat that didn't like anyone. It's mostly just like if I was gonna own a pet, it'd be a dog because dogs are better. But I'm not home enough. I go out a lot. I obviously travel a lot. I don't want to have to worry about a cat.
Yeah, if there's anything, that's probably our biggest gripe is always having to find a cat sitter when we both want to travel somewhere.
Yep. Rasterman it's John, right?
Yep. Masterman says, next week I'll be going snowboarding for the first time, but most importantly, I'll be in contact with snow for the first time. In the last 80
Nice.
years, it has only snowed once in my city, and I missed it due to staying inside playing Sonic 3.
That's insane. Holy shit.
Anyhow, do you have any tips or tricks for a first-time snowboarder? And what's something you were able to do in life way later than the average person from other regions have?
Oh, go on a boat.
That was way earlier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're from the coast, so that makes sense. I'm trying to think, when was the first time I went on a boat? Because, like, there are, like, lakes
Yeah.
in, like, Alberta.
There are lakes
like,
around here.
So there's no water. First time snowboarder. Did you guys snowboard at all growing up?
Yeah.
Done it once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna fall a lot. Just get ready to hurt your knees and your ankles probably.
You're gonna look cooler than skiers, which is why I snowboarded.
True.
Or switched from skiing to snowboarding because I was like, that looks so much cooler. But I probably couldn't do it anymore. I haven't done it since I was a teenager. I don't know, tips and tricks like try not to break your wrist.
Don't fall on your hands.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Don't fall on your hands.
Don't fall on your hands.
Try and fall on your butt a whole bunch.
First tip is to learn how to fall properly and then get used to it for sure.
Yeah, an actual like proper like take lessons. Take lessons.
Yeah, I would recommend taking lessons.
Because I think the first lesson they teach you is literally how to fall correctly.
Yeah. Super important.
I'm also kind of worried like what this person's age is because I just feel like as a kid it's a lot easier to learn how to fall than an adult.
This person is not a
up
kid.
as much. Yeah.
Yeah, if they miss snow playing Sonic 3, they're probably around our age.
Probably, yeah. That I still can't believe you did that. Man, you fucked up. I don't know if there's any game worth taking over the one time in 80 years it's snowed outside.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it makes sense because it snows all the fucking time. So, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, yeah.
That would be like, it's tropical day in Calgary. Once every 80 years, it feels like, I don't know, like the Bahamas. Go outside and enjoy that. It doesn't happen often. I can't think of something way later than the average person. 'Cause even if I think of like, like going to the ocean, going to the beach, like I traveled a lot as a kid, and there are like lake beaches in Alberta that I went to, and in BC for sure. I don't think I have a good answer for that.
I
Have
don't
fun
think I
snowboarding
do.
though. Snowboarding's fun.
Yeah, I
it's a
don't think
good
I have
one.
an answer for that either.
Even if you're scared, go on the chairlift and go to the top of the mountain, and then walk your way back down. Chairlifts are fun.
They are fun. Agreed.
VGC Kenny writes, they announced that the next Kingdom Hearts game will include MCU content. However, instead of adapting an existing movie into Kingdom Hearts, it's an original MCU story that is canon to the MCU, meaning that if someone wants to get into the MCU, they'll have to play this Kingdom Hearts game to get the full story. How would people react?
They'd expect it. I think this is more expected than unexpected.
At this point, I don't know that many people give a shit anymore about the MCU. People are burnt out, so I think most.
I'm
people
one of the.
whatever.
I'm probably one of the few people that has seen everything, and so I value knowing all of it. And even I probably would not play the Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
I could not imagine this actually happening though, to the point where they actually put something of that significance in the game.
Or like canon.
It'd be funny.
Yeah.
It would be funny, but like I just like imagining like the next Avengers and like everything is different, and they're like, oh wait, you didn't play the Kingdom Hearts thing? That's where like half of them died, and the other half had a gender swap. And
I mean, here's the thing too. This implies that Sora and Mickey Mouse and everything are now canon to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So
Right.
that does also
yeah.
complicate that. They actually have to like find someone to be live action Sora.
It's only if they wanted to put that character in the movies. They could say yes, Sora is canon, and then just not show Sora in the.
I guess.
They
Spider-Man
could kill Sora at the end of this Kingdom Hearts. Even better.
If it's a good story, sure, I don't care. Why not?
Yeah.
But it's about like darkness and hearts and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Is it
everything's
distinct
about
Kingdom
darkness and hearts and stuff. If you think about it,
If it's part of the
guess.
MCU in this phase, then it's not going to be a good story either. It's going to be shit. So
wow, shots fired.
he's
I haven't
been
finished
garbage.
Secret Invasion. Everyone seems real upset about it.
Apparently, the last episode's pretty bad.
Is it
That's what I
really?
heard, so-
Oh, I haven't heard like anything about it. At
The
all.
only thing I've heard is negative things about it, so that's kind of what slowed me down finishing it. And it's only 6 episodes. I have 3 left.
And Only Murders came back, so you got to go to
Yeah,
that instead.
that's the thing to watch.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Suku writes, as a child, you have no concept of good or bad. Whatever you watch, what you played, it's what you had. Everyone eventually grows out of that phase of the shovelware and games made for babies. What was the first game that made you realize how good video games could be and what potential they could hold? I mean, it was the original Super Mario Bros. Mind bursting. Mario 3, maybe? Like, realistically?
I was gonna say maybe Ocarina of Time.
Like the first.
See, here's the problem.
This is
I played
hard.
a lot of shit for a long ass time. So it's like, I can say like, yeah, no, I remember video games being good, but I played so many bad ones too.
There wasn't like a game that stood out of like, this is clearly punching above the rest.
Earthbound, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I can see
Okay,
that being a
yeah.
good answer. So for me, probably maybe like Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Fall Fantasy 7.
I really loved. So I never played Zelda 1. I had Zelda 2. And I remember loving the fact that, like, you would go to a place, talk to somebody, and then, like, that person that you were looking for from that person that gave you, like, a clue was somewhere else in the world that you had to go find, and just how, like, there was this big world that you had to explore. It's just, that's a cool feeling. So I get why people really love the Legend of Zelda games from that time, because not many games, if any, really did that sort of thing at that time.
All right.
Okay.
And the last question from Air IQ. Ahoy, TDB crew. You have been granted the ability to shapeshift, but you must make a choice. Shapeshift into either people or animals. Which do you choose, and how would you use your new abilities to enhance the quality of your life? People, easily. People.
Oh, animals,
Why is
because
that?
people are animals. Done.
That doesn't. No.
Wow!
Cop out.
Good night, everybody.
Burr, 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 burr.
Mic drop.
Because animals, you have the benefit of like I could fly.
Mm.
I could swim to great depths. You know, you get all those kind of fun things. What does people get you?
Lots of money. So you can
Like you-
do all those other things.
Like, okay, yeah, I guess you'd
Yeah.
be able to like get into. Are you just gonna steal? Is that what's gonna happen? Like you're gonna go into like a fancy
I don't
restaurant,
know. I'm not
eat a great-
incriminating myself here.
eat a great meal, and then just turn into someone else and be like, "No, that was the other guy."
No, I'm gonna go in and eat a great meal and then turn into a fly and fly out.
You could, yeah, there you go.
So
like-
you're still, no matter what, there's going to be theft, is what we're saying here.
Hell yes.
if okay, I'm just trying to think. So, what would the people one get you if you couldn't steal?
Why are you taking all the fun out of this?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to think of
It's
like
what
is
he
there any
does, man.
benefit
It's
that
what he
doesn't
does.
involve you? Is there any benefit to it other than stealing?
I mean, you never wanted to live a different life?
No, I'm good with my life. Pretty happy.
Okay. No, I remember just kind of person that always like wonders like what would it be like to live as like someone else or like to see someone else's life or stuff like that. Just like walk a mile in their shoes, I guess the phrase is. So yeah, no,
It
that would
seems-
be like the fun
It
for
seems
me.
Hard. It seems
Yeah?
so hard.
Probably.
See, because like I could see like dating Mystique would be awesome, but like now I'm Mystique.
being
and I have to
Mystique
put all
would
the work
suck.
into it. Yeah, no, I have to be Mystique.
Why am I blue? Ugh.
I'm picking animals.
Yeah, man. I would just go into the forest and turn into a bear and sleep for a bit. I think that would just be real sick. Be real good.
Yeah, just like being able to fly. I could kind of, I could like go anywhere.
Yeah. You don't even have to worry about your dick ripping off. Like the last time we talked
No,
about
'Cause
flying.
animals, they got that figured out.
What? What
a
did I
long
miss
story.
here? All right.
People are going to have to listen back like 2 episodes or something. I can't remember when it was. Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it for questions. People want to send in questions next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Baldur's Gate.
What was that? In Disney in Illusion Island? There we go.
Nice.
Okay. And I'm going to give it to The Expanse. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.